imagine being 1,000 feet up in the air, and furthermore, 1,000 feet up in the air on top of an airplane. That's what wing walker extraordinaire at Carol Pilon does. Good morning.
Good morning.
So cool.
I think it is.
I get it. Okay, so I've been feeling dressed for the part throughout the morning.
Are?
No, I'm not. I need another wing walking suit.
Well, we can fix that up. I have another one in the truck, you know.
I like it. So I've got your cap on. This is the original cap, right?
You do, and this is what vintage barnstormers wore way back in the day.
So for people who have maybe never seen wing walking before, when did it start? When was the first wing walker?
The actual first wing walk happened at Barron Field, Fort Worth, Texas. It was done by Omer Locklear. At the time, he was debating with his officers. He wanted to put a man on the leading edge of his wing with a machine gun to shoot down the enemy.
And this was back in 1917,
1917.
Okay.
So in a pick, he went out and decided to just go do it to prove to them that it could be done, because they'd argued that the airplane wouldn't fly with a man on the leading edge. And even though it was a court-martialable offense, he was put in charge of recruiting that year, and wing walking's been with us ever since.
And why on earth would you want to do it?
Oh, you know, the first time I saw it was a television commercial. It was an ad for my local air show. I was in my early to mid-20s. I just fell in love. And like every other love story, I just never stood a chance. It's owned me since I've seen it.
So it's been 12 years.
Yes.
You're still doing it. We're so
Absolutely.
lucky to have you here at the Gatineau-Ottawa Air Show. Okay, so when you do your show, how high do you go?
Typically, we try to keep the actual show under 1,000 or 1,200. Training purposes, we'll see us go as high as 3,000, maybe 5,000 feet. But for all intents and purposes, we want to stay low to the ground where people can see us.
Okay. And how fast are you moving?
Well, when I'm going this way, we'll get up to about 140, and when I'm up here this way, 0.
How do you handle that?
You know, how I handle it is not, it's not a really big concern. The guy who's handling it is my pilot, and he's the guy who's got to handle it.
Right.
My job is to hang on and manage G-load. But he's the guy managing the whole flight.
Okay, so here's how you hang on. You've got this apparatus here. So what is the setup? What are we looking at?
This is called a wing walking rack, aka torture rack. It is made out of steel, and you stand up here, and once you're here and belted in, everything's good to go. And if you look right behind you, we have this incredible system where we just buckle in and pop it together.
Whoop.
And there you go, squish down a bit.
Okay.
Now you can stand up. See how nice and tight that is?
And how do you stand when you're up there?
Just like you're doing right now, except hands way up, because I'm having a great time.
Like this? Except for your mouth closed because you get bugs.
Oh no, I open my mouth all the time. There are no bugs. Come on, the bugs are only at 15 feet above the ground.
Okay, so you're only getting thwarted with bugs for the first 15 minutes of takeoff, right?
Well, I'm not up here for takeoff. For takeoff, I'm actually on the lower wing.
Oh, you're kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so I do that whole transition. You know what you did to get up here? I go through all that during the flight.
And are you strapped to anything?
I have a tether that I wear, and it goes to a bod harness that's underneath my costume. But it doesn't help me do the wing walking, but it's kind of like your seatbelt. It'll save you if you need it to.
Wow. Have you ever been in a situation where it needed to save you?
No, I think that would be a bad day at the office, so we don't actually go out and practice that maneuver.
Okay, so you start on the bottom wing.
Yes.
And then at what point do you move up into this position?
When we're down there, I'm going to do a loop, going to do a roll, then my pilot brings it up to about 500 feet, cuts back the power. You see this big old prop in front of me right here? He needs to cut the power when I transition behind it. Otherwise, the boundary layer, which is the wing going over the surface of the wing, which makes it fly, that'll actually lift my feet up. So you can't actually walk on a boundary layer, believe it or not. So he has to cut back the prop for me, and then I slip on up.
That is,
and the whole time the airplane's kind of just descending.
So cool. Okay, so there'll be a handful of aerial demonstrations this weekend here at the air show. Carol Pilon, of course, one of them. If you head to the Wings Over Gatineau-Ottawa webpage, you can learn more information about how to get tickets. But a reminder that children under 12 years old are actually free, so might be great to bring the whole family, especially because it's looking like we're going to have some nice weather.
Awesome weather.
Perfect. So
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely, Carol. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. Great having you on the airplane.
I loved it.